Well, here I am in my happy place, the desert. I don't know why I've always loved the desert. Don't get me wrong, the mountains are beautiful. Really beautiful, actually. Not as much of a beach guy, but the desert is haunting to me. It's everything about it. Coyotes, the stars, incredible. And just the solitude and the barrenness of it. There's just something about it. So I thought I would take a break from these episodes. I've had some great interviews, and there's more to come. But I thought, I'll just put a pause on it for now. And maybe, maybe some of you guys are going, who is this guy that keeps coming across my feed? Who is this clown? He's wearing glasses, sunglasses, indoors. What's wrong with this guy? Man, I don't blame you one bit. But the fact of the matter is, everybody is somebody. You matter. Now, I'm no Tony Robbins, but I'd like to think I have a heart for people. They drive me crazy, but I still, I still love them at the end of the day. I wanted to give you a little bit of my backstory. I'm from Eugene, Oregon, born and raised. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. I grew up on Horn Lane, which I think tells you something. I was born to make music. I was born to be a creative. There's no question in my mind that I've followed the path that I was meant to follow. And I try not to take that for granted, because a lot of people end up doing things in life that they really didn't plan to and don't enjoy. So I've always told my kids, and maybe I do take it for granted, but if you can, go after the thing that makes you want to wake up in the morning, whatever that is. Even if it's less pay, do that thing. You might be surprised. You might actually do really well at it, and you might actually make more money than the demographics suggests you should. But yeah, I grew up in a very musical family. My dad was a great singer, incredible singer. Could have been a Frank Sinatra or whatever. He just had the voice, the looks. He had everything, the charm, the charisma. And I think he kind of sacrificed a lot of what could have been as far as an artist goes. And I think he chose wisely, of course. I mean, who knows how screwed up I would be, even more than I already am, if he was some big celebrity. But he did instill music in all of us, and inspired me tremendously. All my siblings are musical. They can sing and play guitar and that sort of thing. My brother's an outstanding singer. I was just, from a very young age, I was just smitten with music. I was singing the Star Spangled Banner in my diapers, for crying out loud. I was singing songs like Joy to the World, All the Boys and Girls, Joy to the Fishes in the Deep Blue Sea, Joy to You and Me. I mean, that was the 70s. It was just some great music came out of that decade, and the 80s. The 70s really spoke to me. I grew up in that era, and my siblings all loved to play, vinyl from the 70s. So there was always music. My sister Gloria would play the Spinners. Loved that stuff. Earth, Wind, and Fire, It just seeped into my pores. R&B, funk, soul. For some reason, man, I gravitated to that stuff so much. And I still do. I would be lost without R&B and funk and blues, soul. I mean, give me a groove, maybe some killer tight harmonies, and a great bass line, and that's all I need. So I try to weave that into pretty much everything I do. I'm going quickly because my wife and I are going out to dinner, and I need to wrap this up pretty soon. I've already recorded this once. It didn't record, So I'm doing this a second time. But I did go for a mountain bike ride today, and I feel really invigorated. I feel clear-headed. Just getting all that sunshine and oxygen, and really, I highly recommend it. Just get out there and do something in nature. Nothing better. So I grew up in Eugene, Oregon. I wasn't really going to pursue music as a career because I just had no confidence. I just didn't think I could do it. My good friend Don Latarski recommended me for a job at a software company called Dynamics in Eugene. And that really is where I started my career in music. It wasn't exactly what I anticipated. It was more on the software side of things. I made music and sound effects for computer games. But it was a great gig. And I learned so much from a guy named Alan McKean about music technology, software, file formats, sample rates, all the technical stuff on the music side of things, which was emerging massively in the 90s. This would have been like the early 90s. And so that really paved the way for me to kind of get my engineering chops. And I always had a keen ear. So that part I pretty much had dialed in, but the technology side, I think it put it into overdrive for me. So that worked out. It was a great gig. It lasted for 5 to 10 years. But eventually I knew I needed to get into producing records, working with artists, writing songs. And so I started working with some local people, local talent. Met a guy named Paul Wright. Paul introduced me to a guy named Sean McDonald. Both those guys are still dear friends. And we made some great music together. And that was probably right around 2000, right around Y2K. And Paul introduced me to Toby Mac. He's taught me so much. He's coming on the show. He has agreed to come on the show, and we're going to kick it and talk about the old days and, the future and all that stuff. But Toby really, he's the one that kind of said, you should move to Nashville. So he wasn't real popular with my parents because of that. But we did end up moving. We took his advice. We moved in late 2004, after I'd done a couple, projects with him out in Oregon. We did some remote stuff back and forth. And so we moved. We just packed up and moved. It was crazy. And didn't look back, really. And 21 years later, here we are. My kids all grew up in Nashville. It's been a wonderful town to us. I worked really hard doing a lot of records for Toby, a lot of other Christian artists like Mandisa. She's not with us anymore, but such a light, such a wonderful person. I did a lot of stuff with her and many other artists. But in 2015, I decided I really wanted to chase the country thing because I was such an admirer of songwriters in that world. They really knew how to craft a song, and I wanted to get better at songwriting. So I hit up a couple of good friends, Mark Bright, who was on the show, and Scott Hendricks, who was also on the show. Hope you enjoyed it. So late 2015, I started writing down on Music Row. I got an office thanks to Mark Bright. He got me a place down there. And I was in a little cubicle in Starstruck, which was this building. It's still down there. I wrote a lot of songs in that little cubicle with some great people. In that chapter of my life, I was probably writing about 100 songs a year, which is, I don't know if that's average. Some people write more than that. But that's kind of, you have to do it, to get songs out there. I wrote a song called Everything's Gonna Be All Right with David Lee Murphy and Jimmy Yeary. The song came out on David's album called No Zip Code, and it was a feature with Kenny Chesney. And it went number one. That was like in 2018. It was my first country number one. It was awesome, wonderful feeling. I did the track to it. Buddy Cannon produced it. I mean, it was surreal to hear two country music icons singing your song. Probably around that same time frame, I wrote a song called I'm Gonna Love You with Travis Denning and Kelly Archer. That song, we all knew was going to do something at some point. It kind of made the rounds. It didn't really didn't really find a home initially. Travis decided he wanted to put it out for his record, but as time went on, it kind of got pushed back a little bit. And then meanwhile, Cody Johnson expressed an interest in it, and he kept checking back and saying, "I really would love to cut this song, and I want to cut it with Carrie Underwood." And years went by, and I would say, honestly, I'd say like 7 years before Cody finally, Travis said, "Yeah, you can cut it," and Cody went in the studio with Carrie. They cut it. Another year later, they finally released it, and it went number one in March of 2025, which is almost 9 years later after it had been written. It was written in August of 2016. So that just goes to show, man, you never know. Don't give up. But, those songs, very special to me. That Kenny Chesney, David Lee Murphy song, dang near paid for this house. And, well, they at least covered the down payment. And now I'm sitting here under the stars in paradise. So if I can say one thing, it would be, well, two things. One is, find what it is that you're here for and go after it with reckless abandon. Why not? Especially you young people. We're all here for such a short time on this planet. And I would say, I wish I had more confidence in myself when I was younger. Sometimes I wish I had more confidence in myself today, in my 50s. But definitely when I was younger, I think there's nothing wrong with self-confidence. It's not the same as arrogance. There's a big difference. So just know that. It's getting dark out here, so I probably look weird now with the flames coming up on my glasses. The other thing I was going to say is just get out in nature, man. Take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mind. Easier said than done. I'm not great at it. Do get out in nature if you can. This is a short episode. This is just me chatting with you guys. As much as I'm being a little bit hypocritical here by telling you to get out in nature and then saying, check out my show, just find the balance, maybe, God bless. And take care. Maybe I should play a major chord instead. Yeah. Peace out.